Can you hear me, John? Anybody there?
I'm here.
Oh, do I see your picture, or I just see a avatar here, don't I?
Well, I'm trying.
Oh, that's
All
right.
right.
We had a call last night. Did transport, didn't get back till
Hey,
11:30. Right. Had 2 calls this morning.
Good evening, guys.
yep, we're doing great.
Hi, John.
I see you there. Oh, okay.
Sure can't see Herb this time.
Pam,
Yes,
you hear me?
yes, I can.
Good.
How are you this evening?
I all right.
You are okay. Well, good.
About Brian? I mean, no, Brian, he's not in the meeting yet, huh, Joan?
Joan is actually sitting there. The camera's on her, but I can also hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, good.
Can you hear me well?
Yes, very well.
Okay. So yeah, Joan is hogging the camera, but that's fine.
What do you mean, I'm hogging the camera?
Do you see yourself up there?
Yes, but I'm a little pitch picture.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm just being
now.
funny.
You can't see Herb, though.
Where's Herb?
I don't know where Herb is.
Now, did we get the budget committee squared away? Because,
I sent a note to all the budget committee that had one except for Bob Wilson.
okay,
And I got one response that they were going to attend. I don't remember who it was. I think it was Gary,
okay.
but I haven't heard from any of the others.
Do we
So,
consider them all to be on the committee, then the 4 except Bob Wilson? Wait,
Yes.
no, 3 then.
3. Paula, Harry, and Gary.
Paula, Harry, and Gary, right, okay. Okay, I just want to, make sure for,
As long as we don't have more than the board members, we're good. You can have less than the board members. You
it's
can have
it's
zero.
fine,
You could actually have
right,
0.
right. I just want to make sure if you heard back from them so that we could know for sure that we consider them part of our budget committee.
Anybody get a hold of Skip?
I could call Herb. I don't have his number here.
What about Skip?
Yeah, I know Skip's number. I need to call her. Let me call.
John?
Hey, Skip, are you going to join us for the meeting?
Yeah, I'm sorry. What time is it?
It's at 5 o'clock, and
Okay.
if you hurry and get online, you'll be able to join us.
All right, yeah, I'll be right there.
Have you got Herb's number handy?
I can find it. I don't have it here right in front of me.
Eric's going to call.
Okay, hang on. I gotta get on my computer and I'll get back.
Did somebody say they were calling Herb?
Yeah, Eric's trying right
Hey,
now.
Herb, it's Eric.
Okay,
Is Herb on?
he
No,
was, I thought.
Eric's got him on the phone.
Yeah, I can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we
All
can hear you, but
right.
yeah.
Skip, we'll see you on TV. Keep going.
All right, hang up.
Okay. What time is it?
Not sure. So he can hear everybody, and I can hear you guys talking in the background, but we can't see him.
Let me see.
I know you did, but you never talked about it.
Hang on.
Oh,
Maybe you're in the waiting room.
I have to get my shoes.
There is no waiting room.
No?
I put your drink over there.
I don't see him dialed in.
Are you-
Are you Sharon's iPad?
On Sharon's iPad? Oh, okay. So that's him.
Try it again, Herb. Let me see if I can hear you.
Can you still hear me?
Now we got you.
Yeah, you were
Wait, is
muted.
my picture there?
I can fix that too.
I have no video on Herb.
Working it. He's got a,
Goes to ask you to start video. Okay, right on, guy.
oh, there you go.
There you are. There you are.
Okay, so we're all right?
We're all good.
Okay.
Now, how about Sharon? Where's she? Oh, that's your iPad, Herb. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
Okay, we know
that's
it's
Sharon's
Sharon.
old iPad. We get a new one, and she gets a new one. I get her old one.
And let's see, we need Skip, so he'll be coming on, hopefully.
You didn't get into the budget committee. I don't see Harry or.
see what I can find.
I don't hear Scott or see him.
You know, the last time we did this, I was able to see everybody all at once in little squares.
Yeah.
There's
If I-
bound to be a button I push for that.
If I stop sharing, you get to see that.
Oh, now, there we go. Or maybe we don't.
I got,
You see everybody.
That's everybody that's dialed in.
Well, are we getting close to ready to start then?
I can take roll if you want, Mr. Chairman.
Where
That'd
did
be
John go? We
Pardon me?
lost John.
He's
Yeah.
back.
He's here.
yeah, fine. Let's go with it. We got a lot of ground to cover.
There.
All right, Chairman Wick.
You guys are so good getting things set up. I guess this is all new.
I see Mr. Melandon. I see
Yep.
eyes on Stephen. Skip, is that you that just dialed in? Hang on.
Looks like Skip, that's Skip's phone number that you have on your screen.
Can you hear us, Skip?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm fine.
Okay.
Okay.
And Pam is here.
I'm here.
And none of your budget committee members are dialed in, but do you want to proceed? The freeholders?
Well, okay, they were all contacted by phone too?
No, I sent the email. That's
Oh,
all I
the
did.
email. So
Yeah.
if they didn't look at their email, they might not have.
And there was one that did look at it and said he was going to attend, but he's not here yet.
Okay, which one was that?
Let's see.
Maybe we'll catch him on the second round.
Well, maybe there won't be a second go around.
I don't recall who it was.
Well, maybe it's time to call the meeting to order because we have all the board members present. Is that correct?
But maybe we did this in the meeting, but we would need to establish that we accept that we have those 3 board members or we don't, based on their not being here, because that establishes how many, what's a quorum for voting.
We have a quorum now, even without the budget committee members.
But a quorum for the total budget committee, which would be, if it's 8 people, you would take 5 to get it, to approve it.
Right.
And possible some board member might not be present, you know, so if these budget members don't show at any of the future meetings, then we might have a, problem getting approval.
Right.
If you need another meeting.
What, did anyone talk to any of you guys?
No, I didn't.
No,
John,
I didn't.
What, did I talk to whom? I'm sorry.
did you talk to any of the budget committee?
No, I did not.
Let make it unanimous. I didn't either.
No, I didn't either.
So the only way they were contacted was by email, so that maybe some reason why they're not dialed in. So the quorum won't be needed today, but we'll need it next meeting when we pass the budget
Yeah.
and have the public hearing. So you like to proceed and then,
I'd like us to move right along here.
okay,
Yeah.
we'll do it.
This is the May 19th first budget committee meeting. And does everyone have a copy of that Brian sent out?
Yep.
I do on email.
And it's displayed as well, so.
So in terms of process, I guess that having called the meeting to order, I would now turn it over to the budget officer let's walk through the budget and see what we think.
Okay. There's a schedule, which I think you're already in receipt of, and we'll hammer out the next meeting date when we get done here at the end of the meeting. Here's your committee, and we'll chase down those 3 members for the next meeting.
Isn't it 4, Brian?
Yeah, but I understand that Bob Wilson has moved and is unavailable, and he's ill.
Oh, okay.
Right.
All right.
If he's moved, then he wouldn't be qualified if he.
Right.
right.
I hope you all had a chance to read through the message, and I'm willing to field any questions from it rather than just read verbatim from it.
Yeah, I had a question, Brian. Has the council decided what they're going to do concerning the option levy on the ballot in November? Discussions with Lane County Health about the funding for emergency services.
So the status there is the Oak Ridge Budget Committee endorsed putting the levy on the ballot and recommended to the council. So the council is actually having their first budget meeting and public hearing on Thursday.
Uh-huh.
And then the vote on that budget, hopefully I'm targeting the first council meeting in June, which is where they would also endorse putting it on the ballot.
Okay.
And as far as discussions with Lane County, I've engaged at the sort of the chief operating officer level and with the Lane County administrator. We've also reached out to Heather Buck, the commissioner for this area, and kind of given her a heads up that we're going to be in discussion about it, and we're going to come back with just some numbers and kind of give her a picture of what we look like, and then maybe some suggestions on how we can move forward together to come up to a better solution.
That would be great. Now, that's not only going to be the Oak Ridge area, it's also going to involve the High Prairie area and your total area of service. Is that correct?
Yeah, ambulance area 7, which goes all the way up to the Willamette Pass up to milepost 2017.
Yeah. I think for our budgeting process, however, you've done a nice job, Ryan, in the budget message and highlighting the fact that we do have, or the city of Oak Ridge has some major financial issues, and they will have certainly an effect on Hazel Dell, but not a direct effect on our budget. Having gone through read through the budget, we've agreed to share as we can with the city, and the city will respond as they are able. So I think for our budget process, we just need to move ahead with our budget in light of the fact that there's some uncertainty.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to highlight that that
Right.
was out there because we are your provider. Okay, to start in on the budget, unless there's no further questions on the message, there are your financial priorities. They're unchanged. And to go down line by line now for the LB 20. Which is your resources. If you look,
General fund resources.
right, general fund resources. Let me get there.
Brian, I had a question on just on the very first line on that. Is available cash on hand, is that our carryover, or what is that?
Well, I was speaking with Joan about it. I need to fine tune the number because I've got to get bank balances.
Right.
So once I have bank balances, both Banner and Inside and LIGP or
I think
LGIP.
it's in the audit.
Yeah.
And because when I'm looking at the preceding year, 2018, 2019, and you see that number 31,273, that's in the audit. So the ending balance last year was 39,010 compared to 48, which was proposed in the budget. So it's about.
Yeah, but I'd like to make sure that we're somewhat near given the cash on hand.
Okay, but we have to know what our future expenses are this year.
Right, but I mean, we kind of know what's expected in the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And so and the beginning balances is an estimate. Don't understand.
Right, but I mean, last year, the beginning balance was $9,000 short, estimated too high.
Right.
Okay,
So it is an estimate, like I said, but you want it to be as close as you can get it. So
right, okay.
we'll take those balances and my finance director will come in and be a beginning balance. So we will fine tune that number. That's probably one of the numbers that will change between now and when you see the budget for the past. But to talk about line by line, we increased line 3. Given the current economic situation, we would assume that some people are not going to be as quickly to pay their taxes. And we've adjusted line 5 upward just by $500 based on the receipts to date on the expenditures and resources page of your budget.
Right.
Unanticipated revenue, it's kind of a placeholder for just what it says, unchanged. So line 13 bears some discussion. So those were supposed to be transferred into the general fund for expenditures, is that correct?
Yes, and I can tell you more about that if you.
So yeah, that's the point is were there expenditures made against that already?
No.
Okay.
What happens, and you didn't propose a budget for that. My understanding is last year we did that in the budget and you talked to the auditor. Now, I don't know if they explained it in detail why they wanted you to do it, but my best understanding is that it's due to our limited QuickBooks program. So all of our Banner Bank balance is general fund money, but some of our investment is general fund and land and facilities and vehicle, right? That's split between 3. But anyway, we can only make it write checks from the general fund and Banner Bank. So in order to move, in order to spend money that you anticipate for vehicles, for instance, you would have to transfer the budget and have a placeholder for it to transfer that budget to the general fund during the year.
So
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
for my finance director, he kind of sent me to school on this. So
Okay.
what we have to do is it does make sense, not because of Quicken Books, but if you're going to buy a large item, a capital item like that, and it's planned to do, it is good to move it into the general fund because that way it becomes a general fund capital asset and not stuck in a reserve fund somewhere as a capital asset. So, but the fact is that you really don't have any planned purchases right now. Is that correct?
That's up to you.
That's correct.
Right. So,
Right.
So my thought would be is don't transfer it until you need it.
Okay. And then what will you'd probably have to have a supplemental budget.
Yeah, which is easy. You
Okay.
just have a board meeting and you move the
have
money
more
and then you
meetings
write
than
the
you do.
check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
The decision is the decision to leave it where it is
until you
and
need it.
later on do a supplemental budget. Is that right?
Yeah, if you need to buy a large item and you wanted to move the money from the fund, it would be easy just to do a supplemental budget and move it.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense.
Makes sense to me.
Okay. Let's see. So same thing with line 14. Take care of both those. So line 30, tax estimated to be received. We increased it based on the district's asset value properties and adjusted for unpaid taxes and taxes paid early for discount. So that's why that number is different. Any questions on resources?
Oh, just, I have a question. It's very minor, but We actually do use that bank interest line item. We have investment interest and then a bank interest line item.
Okay,
It has very little money. We've only collected $8 for Banner Bank this year because we've kept low funds in there and they aren't paying anything out. If we want, we could just have one line item and put it all together
put it with,
because you're not budgeting anything
Right.
for it.
it was only a decimal dust really, but,
Right.
so you saying just put it in investment interest and
We
kill the
could
line item?
have the auditor collapses those two line items for their report.
Line 5 and 6?
Yes, for
Yeah.
their report. And they just say investment earnings. Totally, not regard to LGIP or whatever.
Any opposed to collapsing that line or just getting rid of bank interest and enrolling it in with investment interest
Fine with me.
by your budget? Okay. Okay, any other questions on resources?
If that's okay.
Off to LB 30, personnel, general fund expenditures. I have an eye chart. Let me see if I can zoom in here. Better. Okay, no personnel services or for materials. We applied an inflationary increase to your workers' comp. I've been in talk with CIS for Oak Ridge, and he mentions some figures of around 3% at a minimum to be increased for your premiums. These are our premiums, so I assumed yours is about the same. But office expenses unchanged. Line 9 unchanged for board expense. Line 10 audit. We kept it at 4,000. Is that realistic as far as you know, Jim?
It was up to 3,700 this year. There is that state fee that comes through. I should put it there because it's an audit expense. I put
You
it
got a little
someplace
slot
else,
there,
but it didn't get there this time. But that's the proper place for it because it's a cost of audit.
So we should be able to cover that with.
Oh
4,000.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm just
very
saying
good.
what another line item this time.
Bookkeeping,
Right.
1,500. Good. All right. Legal fees, we kept them at 500. I know you're looking for a new attorney.
Let me add to that. In April, we did engage a new firm. It's local government.
Okay.
And
Yep.
I don't know how you didn't get mailed on this. And they've increased the rate $10. They originally would have charged us, let's see, 235 for attorney time. And they wrote us a letter back in April and said 245. So it's only $10 increase. And I don't know what to put for that number, but whatever we do, we're gonna, 2 hours will wipe that out.
Yeah. The other interesting part is that we haven't used any of it historically. The year before, we didn't spend any of it.
Right.
So why don't we just leave it at 500 and move on?
Yep. We can transfer it somewhere else if we need it.
Do we have extra somewhere else?
Yeah, you've got a bunch sitting there and unexecuted capital at the end. So
Okay,
you got plenty.
I think there's enough. We could use that. That's okay. Or
Okay.
you could change that, change your notes there to show that local government law group is the new attorney.
Got it. Public information webpage design and maintenance. I know Skip has gone to some class about building a webpage. I don't know if you want to change anything there, but I left it kind of as is at 500.
But that would
Yeah, that's fine. Just leave it that way.
Okay.
I don't really see needing any money, tell you the truth.
right. And if we did that public meeting that we had previously planned for May, we did that in the future, that would be where we would pay for it, I would think.
Yep. Let's see what else. Based on the execution of the, I lowered the bank fees and service charges because you're not really,
Right, that's not.
it was
right.
too high.
Right.
Line 15, kept it the same at 1,000 for dues, permits, inscriptions, and licenses. Elections and notices are the same. Training's the same. Travel, I kept it at 2,500. I don't know what the board thinks about their requirements, given this COVID thing, but we can always keep it there and move it around if we need to.
Right. It's, I have a suggestion to increase elections and notices. We are currently have spent $957, and we will get also the charges for this meeting, you know.
The posting and the noticing,
the
yeah.
amount. And I think their fees went up a lot last year.
DME, yeah,
Yeah, so we could increase it
$500.
at least 500. We've got 3 officers positions that need to be renewed next year, or whatever.
Right.
We've got 3 officer elections.
Any concerns about increasing that to $1,500 for elections?
What line are you on?
I'm sorry, that's line 16.
Okay. No, that's fine with me.
Okay,
Me too.
Yeah, sure, that's good.
Are we going to have 3 board members up for election this fiscal year?
Yes.
So
Are
I'll
they
cover those, that
Would they be?
additional, cover those.
Who would they be? Me, Pam, and
John,
Herb, board members next year. Right here.
Okay.
Am I on your list?
John, you got re-elected last year, right?
Okay, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Okay, so Pam and myself and Herb.
Herb. Okay. You gotta get your papers in them.
that's turnover.
Joan, when is that?
All right,
Joan,
yes.
is that coming November?
No, next spring.
Oh, next spring, okay.
Okay, moving on, line 19
I
is
believe, yeah.
vehicle maintenance and repair. We kept it at 10,000. And we reduced the gas bill to, or line to 250 based on the execution of this year. Most of the Oak Ridges, I think, is for most of the gas bill. Tires and batteries still at 3,000. Equipment, vehicle, and testing, same at 4,000. Line 23. This is for protective clothing, and we've increased it from 13 to 14,000 to implement the clothing replacement program, which had been previously agreed to.
It's the turnouts and the prices go up every year. So
Yeah.
I think 5 sets come to 13,550 or something.
The turnouts price has increased, which is why you see that. Line 24 is equipment. We kept it at 1,500. Radio and small repair on line 25 is at 1,500 still. The address sign program, it's dormant. No one's using it, so I zeroed it out unless you wanted to do otherwise.
Did we sell any last year?
No, ma'am.
I really think that that's something that the firemen would really like to have.
They would. We can throw some money back in there if you'd like and see if we can re-energize the program.
And I think we need to push that as a district to get everybody signs up wherever they are.
Well, a lot of people already have that. They have the old red signs.
What was that?
Well, maybe we should talk to the firemen and see what they say.
Pam, are you suggesting we let the volunteer association do this?
I'm just suggesting that we need to push on that somehow.
We are underwhelmed by the amount of interest in this from the ratepayers, but
Hanson had Justin in charge of the program.
You're on line 26, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So if you want, we can throw some money in there and see if we can garner any interest, or we can leave it as is.
I think that would be appropriate, and we need to push it because because a lot of these places are stuck way in the back, and I don't know
Yeah.
how the ambulance people find them.
Well, last year was
Yeah.
66, so I'll put 100 in there and we'll energize one of the career staff to get behind the program. How's that?
That would be great.
Line 27, grant expense fee. You're not applying for a grant, so it's zeroed out, I believe. Yep. Contract services. I added your actual property value increase was greater than 3%, but I added 3% to the fee to contract services up to 6189.
Sounds fair.
Okay. Line 29, contract services. We further reduced it. I think you used to pay Chief Hansen out of that, and that doesn't come out anymore, but we left 1,000 in there to pick up on any professional type services that we would need.
Sounds good.
That we've been working on for a long time, so maybe we could push that and make it happen.
Make what happen, sir?
Administrative help for Joan.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Well, I think what I'd be looking to do is SDAO has a program where they will work with your special district to improve, its services or improve whatever problem you have. And I do have a problem with keeping track of stuff.
Okay. We'll see.
I think it's a personal problem. No, I do. I think I'm good at the finances, but not good at keeping track of other stuff. And I need somebody to look at that.
You need an organizer.
Yeah.
See what's out there. We'll leave 1,000 in there. Line 30 is utilities. We'll keep it at 3,000, given execution. Line 31 is maintenance, and we're keeping that at 7,000. Line 32 is the volunteer program, and we applied an inflationary increase up to 15,450, and it obviously funds the volunteer stipend program or a portion of it. So that gives you a total materials and services of, with not counting for the changes we just talked about, 142,179. 2% increase.
Hello.
Over last year. Any questions? Okay. Next is, you have something, Eric?
May I ask a question about line 32? Why are we doing that? I assume that the volunteers report to Oak Ridge.
Correct.
And they do, and they're trained by Oak Ridge and so forth and so on. And if that's the case, I don't know why this is in our budget unless we pay the bills, whatever is incurred, or increase the contract services amount by that number. What's your view on that, Brian, or have you looked into that?
Well, I'll ask Eric to kind of express the historical point of view, and then I'll talk to it.
So the volunteer stipend program, the total amount that the city budgeted for that is $73,000. And so my understanding is this, the Hazeldale contributed the $15,000 to help offset some of that, just to help try to get staffing at the station of the volunteers.
That makes sense.
So,
But that means that we have a separate function in that program of paying this cost, and Oak Ridge is handling the entire program. Is that correct, Scott?
yes, that my understanding, yes.
Well,
We are so totally dependent on the Oak Ridge volunteers that it seems reasonable that we would want to take advantage of opportunities to share in the cost for that. And I realize they're doing, the thing says for the Oak Ridge program, but it's really for the Oak Ridge, West Fir, and Hazeldale program. We're all beneficiaries of those volunteers, and it's appropriate that we pay for part of it.
That's right. I agree with that. It's where the money is going to be put in order to pay for it.
Well,
And
this makes it pretty specific and it's accessible and looks like we spent it all last year. So I think it's going to where it belongs.
How's the city doing in spending it, you know, and how are you spending it?
It goes to the volunteer line, and like Eric mentioned, it's a 73,000 this year, so it's 20% of the budget of our budget for
Okay.
volunteers.
Okay,
But you know, it's very variable, that size of that budget, because it all depends on participation and how big the program is.
so
So
that's what I said.
we are building the program, so it is getting more expensive to staff the volunteers.
Okay,
well, would it be more helpful to move that money into your contract services rather than in our account? Question.
Talking about raising the
Want
contract.
to think about that? I would prefer that because we're so disjointed from the program in that sense.
Right.
John, I would think with part of our interest in the transparency of our budgeting and the openness, that it's appropriate for us to display that we are in fact supporting that amount. And I kind of like the idea of maintaining it as a line item. It makes it visible to everybody that we're putting this amount of money into the volunteer program.
That's a good point. And, you know, the money goes into our general fund in either case and gets allocated to the EMS fire department. So,
right, and also, if you look at what our public would see when they look at our budget, it's better to show the two line items rather than collapse it into one lump sum that increases, I think.
yeah, the transparency is nice.
Would it be better to put the city of Oak Ridge / Hazeldale?
Yeah, I mean,
Sure.
volunteer program.
/ Westford.
Yeah.
Right. Something that's more inclusive of all of us.
Well, as long as it's there, that's good, and we'll respond to an invoice or whatever you do. I don't know how the money is handled, but that's okay with me if you want to leave it where it is.
Okay. All right. Moving on to capital outlay. There really is no talk about here. We don't have any planned capital outlays for the district. So off to next page, which is transfers. So as part of the plan that was already established, we're going to sort of build up a nest egg in each of these reserve funds for future purchases, only to be withdrawn when you need them to the general fund. So 30 and 10 was the amount from last year, and we just kept them that way unless there's other concerns about it.
Well, is there a need to change that amounts to either of those? So
That was only one of my questions with, if you're wanting to add on to the station up there, you currently have, 30,000. This year, you're gonna transfer 10,000 into that, so you'll have 40,000 going into. So I don't know how much work, how much money is gonna cost to do any upgrades to that station for your living quarters. And so I don't know if you wanna look at adjusting that from 10,000 to something else.
We had an estimate on that, Brian, and actually the addition that we've talked about with all the changes that ODF outlined and in the discussion when we were having that, it'll amount to something like near $100,000 total by the time you add the building and everything that goes in the building. So
That expenses borne 100% by the district?
yeah.
Yeah.
And that would be a shared cost, hopefully, and that was what we were hoping to do, was to have ODF share that cost with us. And we really stopped any discussions on that back in April sometime, and so we have to actually start that over again and really decide what we want to do. And right now it's on hold because we thought, well, we could use a trailer, living trailer, until we really know what, if we had an emergency thing where they wanted to put somebody up there. And Dennis Bird was going to retire, but he doesn't look like he's retiring now. So maybe things will just hold where they are, and we could face that issue later. And if necessary, I think that we could go ahead and open a loan and not have to use all our cash. That's the way we built the station. So that's my view on it.
Any other thoughts about changing those amounts?
No, I think they're good like they are.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you look down, it's operating contingency for unforeseen expenditures, and then you have unappropriated fund ending balance, which you can move around if you needed to in the mid-year. So that brings you up to your requirements in the general fund of 219.34.
How was that unappropriated ending balance developed? I've never understood that, Brian. How does that? How do you calculate that number?
It's just a difference of what you didn't spend over your beginning balance and what your resources. So it's whatever's left over.
I see.
It's just to assure us that we have enough money to run the first 2 or 3 months of the
Exactly.
next fiscal year before tax revenues come in.
Yep. Exactly right. No questions. We'll move on to the reserve funds, LB 11.
No?
So this is the vehicle fund. So you have 30,000 in there with, let's see, cash on hand was a 91.1, and then transfer it in. So that gives you resources of 121.4. And we programmed some stuff in there just as placeholders, which we would move out to the general fund if we ended up buying a vehicle or fire equipment. And so the resources match the requirements. So we did put some money in there for repairs because I do believe that there might be some vehicle repairs coming on one of your vehicles. So, questions on the vehicle reserve fund?
Nope. Looks good to me.
Similar story on land facilities. Cash on hand 40,200. If you add in the 10,000 expected, then you're 50,200, and we just kind of put everything as a placeholder in repair purchase of land and facilities. Everything matches.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
Except I'm here.
I don't want to be premature, but I think you've done an excellent job of getting us ready for this.
Like I said, I borrowed the finance director because he's the guy with the green eye shades, and he made everything balance. And he did make some changes to the previous years to balance, because as you notice in the like if you look on the resources page, there'll be 20. Those balances change from budget to actual. So he made some changes there, so everything balanced with expenditures and resources. But so it's all tight now. So before we wrap this up, but I guess what we need to do is figure out our next meeting and whether you think you're ready to move forward on a public hearing and passing a budget.
I have a question.
Yep.
Some of the numbers didn't quite on the end of the third page of the general fund.
Could we see that one, please, on the screen?
What's that?
Could we please see what she's talking about on the screen?
Yep.
Okay. The third
Thank you.
historical, when I got your copy, I didn't think they were quite right, but I haven't totally,
Third page of requirements,
yes,
right there. Is that, am I looking at the right thing?
yes.
Okay.
So,
Which column am I looking at?
well, I guess I just had a few questions about the numbers of, I can't see, I can't see the,
Let me
if it's the same
build it
thing
up for
that I
you.
have. You know, I'll look at them again and I can ask you in person or
Okay.
send you an email.
Okay. So we'll delay that question and she'll ask me offline.
Sure.
So back to the calendar. We can put together the notice for the public hearing and then you could pass the resolutions at the next meeting if you think you're ready. If not, we can have another meeting and go over whatever you need.
It's my sense that the board doesn't have any controversy or disagreements with essentially what you've presented with some minor tweaking, and we've got a board meeting coming up next Thursday. Is it possible to have the budget committee present this to the board on this upcoming meeting, and we could deal with it in terms of making the final adjustments and improve it if that's appropriate?
Meeting the 28th.
Let me,
Don't we need a certain time distance between the
within
time
5
you
days.
publish the,
5 and 30 days, between 5 and 30 days
Right.
to notice.
Okay, so we need to publish what we've got as our recommended budget, wait 30 days, and then take it up at a board meeting?
No, not 30 days. It can be as little as 5 days.
So as long as you get the advertisement and DME on Tuesday.
We're doing some math here with the DME and whether we can get the notice
Tuesday
in
or Wednesday.
time. I'm sorry, Tuesday afternoon.
So it's already past the deadline to get it in this week's DME.
I have a question.
right,
Where do we show the calculation or the amount of taxes that we're going to levy for next year?
That was on the worksheet I sent you. I didn't see it in the-
It's a worksheet, which wasn't included in the budget package. I can forward it out if you're interested.
Yes,
please do.
we are.
Yes.
Okay,
Oh,
I will forward it out to all.
Thank you.
It's the same as last year, I suppose, except for the increase in property and so forth.
Yeah, actually, you pull it off the assessor's website and it has an estimate there.
Okay.
So I'll push that out to everyone. But Eric and I are talking about dates. So we're past the date to give the DME something for next week or for this Thursday, which means that everything has to slide at least 1 week. So if I'm looking at your schedule here.
oh. Hi, John.
You
Hi, John.
Hey,
could have a June 2nd meeting.
I got muted.
Well, that's not nice.
Wait all the way to June 25th.
That's all right. Nice job on the budget.
So we're looking at it now. The earliest you could have it would be Tuesday, the June 2nd. If you wait till the next board meeting, it's kind of down to the wire of June 25th. So do you want another unscheduled or sort of outside the board cycle, or do you want to wait till the 25th?
So you're talking about June 9th being canceled, right?
Right, those are all just placeholders. So the earliest we could have the budget hearing would be the 2nd, and we could have it anytime after that, up until the 25th. So I don't know how you feel about an extra meeting or whether you want to just wait till the board meeting on the 25th. But
Well, do you have advice on that?
I do the, do you have that tonight? Just post the summary of the budget and the DME for,
1 second.
28th.
For the what?
Post it Post it in the DME on the 28th, so you
We'll
can
have it on the second.
have a board meeting on the 2nd.
I'd recommend another Zoom meeting with public participation on the 2nd. And we could have the hearing and pass the resolutions, and you'd be all done.
Well, let's do that. What's the board think about that?
Second budget committee meeting plus the hearing? or
There's no second budget committee hearing. We're not going to do that. So we're going to have a public hearing and then a meeting to pass the resolutions.
Okay, that's
that good?
fine with me, yeah. I'd rather have it separate from the board meeting. It gets so complicated.
Well, the 2nd isn't a board meeting.
No, I know,
Yeah,
I
so
know.
it'll be a
I'd like to
separate
have
event.
it separate, yeah, events.
Any nays on the dates for that on June 2nd?
I might not be able to make it.
That could be a problem with the trying
I
to.
know.
Yeah, trying to. So you want to? Can you slide it a week for the 9th?
I can slide it any day other than that one.
Tuesdays, I guess.
Good thing. Look at my calendar before I speak up too loudly here. Ninth is fine with me. Any of the board members have a problem with the 9th?
Nope, I'm good.
Nobody has anything on their calendars these days.
Yeah, I can't even find my calendar. I use it so infrequently.
I don't think I'm gonna make it on the 9th. My husband has to go up to OSHU that day.
So you want to give us a prospective date then that you could make it?
Told you any day, but then I looked on my calendar and June 9th will be in Portland.
Okay,
And we have a 3 o'clock appointment, so there's no way I can make it back by 5.
Well, are we wedded to the Tuesday, or can you do it at any day of the week?
I can do it any day of the week.
How about the 10th?
Yes, unless they keep us up at OSHU.
I doubt they will.
can this is a Zoom meeting, so you could still attend on your computer, right? Or your.
Right?
Hey, I'm done. They're just discussing the.
I could try.
You can. Yep. Okay. So the 10th, is that?
You want to just keep it on the 3rd and I'll sit in the parking lot and have a meeting on the 9th.
The 9th? Okay, we can do that.
Okay,
Okay, June
And
9th.
if you have a smartphone, it's really easy to do.
okay, I do.
So we can do that.
Sometimes it's a dumb phone.
Okay, so with these changes that the board has talked to you about, and the changes you're accepting, and then I'm going to get you some figures on the beginning balances. Then you will put all those numbers into the final document, and we will have the hearing and everything. Okay.
Right. Yep.
And you'll get those out just so we can check them or whatever, make sure that we don't have any problem with the.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be time to do that, yeah, because the LB1 that has to go in the paper won't be going in until the 28th.
Well, you'd have to have it to DMV on the 26th.
26th.
Be posted on the 28th.
So we'll make the changes. We'll get it to you, the entire board to review once again real quickly, and then we'll get it to the DME on the 26th to notice it properly
Okay.
for the 9th.
Okay,
And technically, if you're pushing the meeting out to the 9th, you don't even have to publish in the meeting until, yeah, so if you post it,
The second will be the
Yeah.
substantive date.
yeah.
Okay, so we're all set then for the 9th. We'll,
Great.
Mr. Chairman, back over to you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the way you
Ryan, I have one question. That is going to be a Zoom meeting on the 9th, right?
Yes, ma'am. It'll be the same as this setup where if an individual does want to come, they can come to the WAC and sit with me at distancing.
Okay, thank you much.
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
appreciate everyone's participation. I know this is not the normal way for us to do business, but fortunately our budget is enough similar to last year's that I don't foresee any controversy. So the better we can move it along, the better. So appreciate it very much. The meeting is now adjourned.
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks. See you later.
What time is it? 5:30, is that 5?
17:52, 5:52.
This is all recorded.
I know,
I'll
okay. Do we need meeting minutes of this?
you should have.
Okay.
meetings, yeah.
I don't think we did last year.